happy to continue this amazing series as we move into celebrating the 25th anniversary of the 1995 Atlanta Braves World Series. And today, of course, we have another great group of panelists so that we can talk about moving Atlanta forward, Atlanta today. So we're happy to be joined by Dansby Swanson from the Atlanta Braves, our shortstop, Ryan Wilson, CEO and co-founder of The Gathering Spot, and Big Tig doing big things, radio, TV personality, hip-hop historian, and we'll be joined shortly by Offset from the Migos. So, fellas, how y'all doing today? How's everything going?
We good.
Yeah, everything's good.
Yeah, I ain't got any complaints other than not getting out of the house.
Right. I know it's tough.
Same complaint.
Right. So we're happy that you decided to join us. Dansby, let's start with you. We want to talk about, the knowing the rich history of the Atlanta Braves and how we won big in 1995. How does that fuel you now as a young player, being from here, Marietta High School, being able to play for the home team and knowing that there is such rich history that you and your teammates can carry on?
I think, honestly, the easiest way to explain it is when I was a kid, people would always ask me about my favorite player, and I would always just answer that my favorite team was the Braves. I didn't have a favorite player on the Braves. I just loved the team. I loved what they represent. Winning has been a part of my, genetics since I was a little kid. And every year when you'd watch the Braves, it wasn't, if they're going to win the division, it was, how far they were going to go past that. And it really set, a standard for this city that, we strive for something a lot higher than the norm. And, just by them embodying that as a team has kind of given me, that foundation since I was a kid that, winning was how we did it, and we did it together. It wasn't one individual person. It was, different people stepping up all the time. So just that, motto has really stuck with me.
Yeah.
And obviously now being able to play for the Braves. So,
yeah.
I'm happy to continue that.
Good stuff. Big Tig, not a native from the ATL, but you have embraced Atlanta like it's your own. What do you remember from that time, looking from the outside in, and now being able to embrace the culture of Atlanta? And you do it so beautifully well.
Well, being a Bronx, New York bred, born and raised Yankees fan, I'm sorry to the Atlanta Braves. But, since I've gotten here, I've been here 7 years. I grew up playing baseball, and I remember watching, the Braves and when you think Braves in that time period, you think pitching. Pitching was ridiculous. They had all the pitching. And then they had the bats to go with it. And they were always, like Dansby said, it wasn't if they were going to meet in the playoffs, it was who were they going to play in the playoffs and then what was going to happen. So, watching the city from a baseball standpoint, it was always good to see if we were going to catch them in the World Series. But since moving here, I've definitely holding that flag, waving that Braves flag, getting my chop on and all that. So it was interesting to watch from afar now to be part of the fabric here in Atlanta.
Yeah, beautiful. Ryan, you being the co-founder and CEO of The Gathering Spot, you being from here, moving away, going to college, just the rich history, but you decided to bring your business back to Atlanta and found the Gathering Spot, which you could have gone anywhere. Tell us about what that meant for you to be able to open such a successful business here in Atlanta, and how are you continuing to move the culture forward, knowing that the Atlanta Braves kind of was the impetus of you continuing this movement?
Yeah, I made the mistake of leaving Atlanta one time, and I will never make that mistake again. And I mean, with all due respect to other cities, what we have down here is special. I mean, I was a kid in the 90s growing up in a city that was on the rise, and to watch not only a championship, that was really the first championship that I was able to experience as a kid. That was our first taste of success. But then from that time to watch how this city has just gone to take over global culture is it's been amazing. I'm so proud to be from Atlanta and to watch what we do down here now start to be kind of replicated all over the world.
Right.
I mean, what other place do you find great sports organizations sitting next to iconic companies, sitting next to new and emerging like startups, sitting next to like a great network of colleges and universities. I mean, we have everything that it takes to be a special place. And I again, I will never make the mistake of ever leaving Atlanta.
Right. Well, happy to bring in Offset from the Migos. What's happening?
What's happening?
Yes, he got the Atlanta Braves backdrop. I see you.
Yeah.
Yes. Now yes, Offset. You have a custom cap for the Atlanta Braves. Tell us a little bit about that and why you decided to do that.
I work close with New Era. You know what I'm saying? Because it was time for the Braves to get some new merch. It's time for the bring it back around to the culture. You dig what I'm saying? So one of the hats I designed. You got the Georgia peach on the side of it. On the other side is the World Series we won from '95.
Yes.
And then I got Do It for the Culture and like rainbow in the back for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So
7 3/8 Offset. 7 3/8.
Yeah.
7 3/8. I got you. My head big. I wear 8.
Right.
Also, here's another one that I designed, and this one has my actual. There it is. That has like my cartoon character, my logo.
Yeah.
And then on the back it say North Atlanta because I'm from the North Side.
Yes. Straight out of Atlanta.
Yeah. And then I got the baby blue Atlanta on the side.
Yeah.
And then this the last one right here. It's the retro
Wow.
Braves hat from back in the day, and I had to put the North on the back.
Yeah.
I know somebody needs to design our jerseys next time.
Yes.
I did some merch too though. I ain't do the jersey, but I did some merch too though.
Yeah.
I did some merch too. It's gonna be a part of it. Yeah. So that's a great big thing for me because I always wore fitteds and it's for the home team. So yeah. To create and do things with them.
Right. So why was it so important? I mean, obviously as a child, you had, the Atlanta Braves as a backdrop for everything that we loved as children. So why was it so important for you to carry the A on your back, being this multi-platinum artist and multi-platinum group? You didn't have to. Why? What resonated with you so much?
Just knowing my influence and their influence put together, it's a big influence. To push positivity and to be able to show the world that they are open to letting other people, other genres, other businesses come in and work together and collab to do something special for the people. And it just means everything to me to be able to, because I just want to always, you want to always come back home with stuff. You want to always bring the help to home when you want to do something to your own community, because that's all you got. That's where you come from.
Right.
So this is a big step, big thing for me.
Yeah, that's good.
Be able to design these hats and be able to watch people in the crowd. Millions of people gonna have the hats. Because it's not gonna be like a little limited thing. It's gonna be for the Atlanta Braves. So I'm excited.
I think that's dope because when you're talking culture, in particular in hip hop, there were 3 hats, maybe 4 hats that dominated hip hop since the beginning. There was the Yankee hat, there was the Dodger hat, the Atlanta hat, and then they had the Raiders hat, and that was just because of NWA. So it was 3 baseball teams, 1 football team. So even I forgot who said it, but I know the line so crystal clear. Now everybody wearing a hat, like that right there. You being able to do that, that's a good look and kudos because they look nice. 7 3/8, brother.
Yeah,
I got you, my brother. I got you.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know what, Big Tig? That was actually Big Zach on the intro of Greg Street's song. Yes.
I knew that lyric from somewhere.
Yeah. I'm straight from the A, so So Dansby, I want to jump back and talk about all things loyal, your brand, and why you felt like it was so important to have a brand to that represents who you are.
Yeah, I honestly kind of Offset said I'd gone to Nashville, to go to school. Got drafted by the Diamondbacks, and then kind of God just brought me back home, got me traded back home. And being back in Atlanta, I wanted to show everybody, not only the people from here, to say that it's okay to be prideful from where you're from, just because when you're kind of raised in the South, it's this hush, just kind of, stay humble, work, grind, all those kinds of things. But sometimes it's okay to, show pride from where you're from. So we started, creating designs and brands basically to enlighten people about, you know, like the history of Atlanta and where, you know, how kind of my story came about of why I love Atlanta so much, just from, you know, Outkast. When I started listening to that when I was like 6, my parents probably weren't the happiest, but, you know, I've been riding, you know, rap music since I was a little kid. Even just listening like Lil Jon and East Side Boys when I was, you know, way too young to be listening to that. I was still listening to it. And, you know, just even the history beyond that, just with, you know, the civil rights movement that took place here and just all the other things that people don't recognize that Atlanta's the heart of, whether it's music, even just the movie industry these days. You know, everybody's filming movies in Georgia. Between Delta and Coke and all the other companies, like Ryan said, like this is the place to be. And, you know, when you talk about culture, Atlanta has to be in the same sentence, because if music defines the culture and if hip hop is something that really moves that, I mean, this is the center of it all. So how does it not start here?
Yeah.
And I always want to show people that that's my story and that's how we grew up. And the people are so special here in Atlanta. So why not emphasize that and, you know, try and give back to the community through, you know, all the product that we sell.
Yeah. Before I ask Ryan the next question, Dansby, what's your favorite Outkast song?
It's actually Elevators.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, when I was a little kid, I was like, man, this song right here, like, this song right here.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Ryan, you know, you could do so many things. I mean, you have done, let me just stop and say thank you for all that you've done during you and TK and the whole team have done during this pandemic to continue to give your members and everybody in the community just amazing content to keep us moving forward, to keep us uplifted. I just want to say thank you as a member myself. Just getting those emails and being a part of those webinars has been outstanding. So thank you for what you all have done. And in that same breath, why did you feel like it was so important to partner with the Braves and Truist Park for future events, that TGS partnership with the Braves? Why was that so important for you?
I mean, I think that's what's special about Atlanta. We collaborate and bring people together across communities that normally don't have interaction with one another on a regular basis. What the Braves are doing, I mean, with the collaborations that we're talking about throughout this entire time are amazing, right? And so we couldn't be more grateful to be a part of what the organization is building. Our community is diverse at TGS. We've got a lot of tech people and a lot of small business owners and a lot of folks that love and like me grew up really loving this organization and to be able to, you know, now have, you know, different experiences that are happening all over town at TGS and everywhere else. Again, it just kind of speaks to what happens here in Atlanta. We collaborate and then build. Absolutely.
Offset, we talked about, you know, Outkast the summer of August 3rd, 1995 at the Source Awards when Dre and Big got on the stage. Dre said the South got on the stage. Yeah.
I was there.
I was 4 years old.
What?
I was there. I'm scared. I was there.
You were there, too.
You were there.
So I'm gonna ask Offset this question. I'm gonna get your opinion on that too. Offset, knowing that even though you were such a young kid, and now the successful artist that you've become, knowing what they did at that moment for you all to be where you are today, how do you continue to carry that torch and have Atlanta on your back, knowing that you had folks like that who paved the way for you?
I actually remember seeing it. That's what's crazy when I spoke, because I was those were like, Outkast was like my Superman and like my heroes. Like I always liked the music before I liked the cartoons. I liked them because they was the first person I seen with like the alien cover, and it just was like, oh, who is this? Oh, they from Atlanta? Boom. Because I used to always, my family, a lot of my family from North Carolina, they always listen to New York rappers. Nothing against them. I knew all the D Block, Taylor Kiss, I knew all that. But when they came out and how they was looking is how I look at myself in the mirror. Or when I go outside, all the kids, we look like that. And like for him to say that, and then for now in 2020, we fast forward and hip hop is the biggest genre of music, and it's led by Atlanta. It's just like the icing on the cake. He snapped it. He should do an interview and talk about what he said, and did he understand how big of the impact was going to be 20 years later or 15 years later, whatever it's been.
Yeah.
That's a big torch to hold too, because you know, Outkast, I'm in a group. That's a group. They the first group to go diamond. So it's a big torch that I got on my back.
Right.
I'm trying to walk you home. I done got the #1 record like them. We had the #1 album like them. But we don't got the diamond. So
It's coming.
So that's a lot. It's a lot of pressure because they set forth tasks that wasn't done from where we from.
Right.
And it's been time, and it's been 15 years, and ain't nobody really broke that record. So it's powerful, but it's pressure. I take it as like I gotta do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It gotta be done.
Well, I mean, you're on your way.
We're on the way for sure. We on the way for sure. I gotta look.
So, Thing, you said you were in the crowd. You were there.
I was only 12. I'm lying.
Guy.
I was there. I remember, and I don't remember who they were up against, but it was in New York, and whoever they beat out for that award, like New York just was not happy about it. Like the audience was not happy. And I remember he walked up there, and I didn't know much about them. I knew who they were. I hadn't really got to know them. But I was impressed by that in a hostile environment to hold your own, stand your ground, and say the South got something to say. And quite clearly he was right, to be quite honest. But it was that was I remember seeing that being like, cause I was like 8 rows back at the time when it happened, and I was like, oh, that was dope. Okay, but they were still booing. But they took their war and rolled out. So I mean, I appreciated it at the time it happened, and later on, here we are later, really appreciating what he had to say, and it came to fruition.
Yeah. Dansby, who is in who are you listening to right now? Like, what do you do to get ready for the game? Hopefully we'll have some games coming up in July, but who are you listening to? I hope it's people from the A.
It's always, honestly, that's pretty much all I really listen to is people from Atlanta. I've been big on Lil Baby since I heard him probably 4 or 5 years ago, honestly. And ever since then, I've been big on Offset and Migos literally back before like any of it. Talking about like Commando and all that kind of stuff. Like back when I was in high school, I since I went to Marietta, like that's how we lived. That's how we lived. So we've been bumping that. My appreciation for Thugger's grown a lot too over the past couple of years. But my #1 always go to was Luda. Ever since I've been a kid, like Luda was my guy.
Yeah.
Luda the president of Atlanta.
Yeah,
Luda was my guy. So, man, honestly, the list never ends because I love Future.
I think we can hang out, Dansby.
Hey, brother, you tell me when, and I'll be there. I'll be there. I'm telling you, my parents were not happy when every time they heard me listen to music. They're like, I'm 8 years old. I shouldn't be listening to this. But I was.
Wow.
Steal my brother and sister CDs and take them to my room.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Offset. When you hear a player like Dansby and so many of the Braves, knowing that they listen to your music and the culture of Atlanta lives so deep within the clubhouse, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel amazing to be able to reach different. Like you see, saying his parents wasn't happy with what he listened to at the age, but I'm happy to have that open book where everybody can come in. And with the Braves, it means so much to me because it's like, we from here. You see, I've been to a couple games. It's a different atmosphere when you at the game. It's like a different fan base. Just like if you were to come to my concert, it's different. And then to be able to reach that amount of people, like it's so many more people than a regular show would be. All right, my show, if I do a arena, it's like 6,000 to 18,000. I'm not sure how many be in the crowd at the Bears game, but like I think it's like how many people is it?
It gets close to around like 35,000, 40,000.
All right, so 35,000, 40,000 people could away from listening to my music, they'd be able to get my product. See, so,
Yeah.
so it's just beautiful to connect everything with that, make it all represent for one thing, and that's Atlanta.
Yeah.
That is Atlanta. Like you said, like Atlanta's collab. Like nobody in Atlanta has ever been afraid to put somebody else from Atlanta on. Like with anything, whether it's music, sports, like you name it. Like people, that's what we do. Like that's the community. Whether it's just any normal person like trying to help their neighbor, like bro, like that's everybody across the board in Atlanta, which is what I appreciate so much about it.
Yeah.
And as a sole person who probably wasn't born here, I would like to say, I mean, that Southern hospitality, that image stretches beyond Atlanta. And people, when they come here, they're like, oh, no, this is not just a record. This is not just the same. It really is a Southern hospitality type thing. Because, I mean, I'm from New York, and everybody ain't that nice all the time. But like,
that's the truth. That's the truth. Like, when I'm in New York with my family, they you know, they look at me crazy. I'll be like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Like, even when I'm in LA, sometimes like people like they give me props for that. Like I might open the door for a lady and be like, "Yes, ma'am," and she'll just be looking so surprised. Like,
yeah,
it's just how I was raised. Like,
don't call me that. I ain't that old. I'm like, my mom would slap me if I didn't say
right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like the Southern, you hit it around the head, Tig, with that Southern hospitality. Because I see it all the time. People be like, "Bro, you nice as hell." I be like, "No, that's normal to me."
Right. Yeah. This is how we do in the South.
I ain't tell my mama, "Thank you." You know what happens? If I say yeah, like New York, I'm like my daughter, Kate. Stop saying yeah, because that's what they used to. Yeah, to my mama, she go. Yeah, she might not even say nothing. She might come around the corner and pull up. Then that's in your face. What you say?
Right. Yes, ma'am.
Right,
and Ryan, let's bring you back in. You know, the tagline for the gathering spot is "This is why we gather." And I'm sure that feeling came from your upbringing from Atlanta, your dad's office being across the way from Truist Park. How are you able to kind of bring those together? Because that's the feeling we get when we walk into TGS.
I mean, there's something really special about people coming together, right? I love that we're able to do this virtually, but there's just something like fundamental about people being in shared space with one another. And so that's what we wanted to capture. That's what we do in the business. That's what happens at games, right? Like that experience when you go and are able to enjoy something with somebody else. I mean, you can't replace that. So that to me, you can't get that feeling when you go to other cities. I'm sorry, it doesn't feel the same way that it feels here. We genuinely want people to win down here. We're interested in making sure that like the introductions that you need or whatever thing will make you more successful, folks down here are willing to take that extra step. And that starts though first with like being in space, like sharing and collaborating with one another. So that's what I've dedicated my work to at this point. And I'm grateful every day that I get to do it because it's special to watch people that normally shouldn't meet, and then the watching things they come up with after that is awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of how we've been, the sports, entertainment, like coming together, politics, everything comes together for this beautiful picture of what Atlanta is. And we'll wrap things up I'm going to ask everybody, what does the A mean to you? We'll start with Tigger because, you know.
I knew you was going to go me first. What does the A or Atlanta? Wait, be more specific in your questioning, young lady.
Well, you know, the A has become synonymous with Atlanta, you know, but I think it all started from Outkast, you know, referring to Atlanta as the A. So I'm meaning everything that the A encompasses to you.
This is truly the epicenter of culture. When I first moved here, I made a little promo thing for Instagram, and it literally was an A hat. And it was like, you can find me and then there was the A on the hat, letting people, you know, across the country know that I was going to be moving to Atlanta to work for V103. You know, having been here 7 years, I couldn't have made a better decision. Again, the epicenter of culture for movie, TV, film, food, music, it's all here. It's all accessible to all of us, which is amazing. And just to be in a city where, you know, like Ryan said, where you can literally be sitting next to Offset and then be sitting next to Dansby and then maybe 2 seats over is the mayor. And then like that doesn't happen in a lot of places. And that's kind of the unique fabric of Atlanta, just to be in those kind of spaces. Like I've been somewhere where, you know, Andrew Young, you know what I mean? I mean, not Andrew Young. I've been in places where, you know, like you could have the governor and then, you know, like 2 Chainz.
Right. And that's not weird, you know?
That doesn't happen everywhere. So I mean, like, I just would say, like, the epicenter of culture and being accessible to everyone is what the A means to me.
Right, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the center of the universe to me. I mean, everything that we create down here goes everywhere now, and folks are trying to be like us. No matter what they're trying to do, we've got a sample of it here that's doing really well. That is a good example for people. And again, that the thing about collaboration is real, right? The love that exists in this community is something special, and it's the only big city that I think you can go to that still feels like a neighborhood. And that to me is, again, the reason why I'll never leave.
Yes. Offset. What you doing? You got some candy in your mouth?
I have candy real quick.
Mackin.
Call me red.
What does the A mean to you, Offset?
So Atlanta means unity, community. Everyone has opportunity. It ain't really about the race thing. That's why I put that on the back of my hat. Do it for the culture and our rainbows, because the colors don't mean nothing, especially at home. But I do gotta specify, like, Atlanta does help Black small business do their thing. Like Slutty Vegans, for example. One of my mom's best friends, who's a Delta. She said, I've seen the community come. She started off with a truck in my city, and now she does pop-ups in different places. And if you come, it looked like the pandemic before the pandemic hit. It was people around in the middle of Bankheads, people around this building waiting for Slutty Vegan. And my mom has watched the lady brand just go from 0 to 100 with straight support from Atlanta.
Right.
Opportunity. So that's why I said opportunity. All the movies are shot here. Like Big Tig said, you can go to Lenox Mall and you can guarantee to see 5 type of celebrities and do different things. You can be an actor, a basketball player, a football player, a singer, and a rapper. If you just go to Lenox.
Right.
So it's like, and also with us having all the eyes on our city, I feel like we have an advantage of getting more talent to be able to blow up, because everybody knows the sauce is coming from Atlanta.
Yeah.
So it's like that too. It's a lot of resources in Atlanta for kids, students, and elderly. Like me, I'm partnered up with the American Cancer Society in Atlanta. I'm the ambassador of it. And I've been trying to raise money to just get different tests and different measures for cancer. Mm-hmm. And Atlanta has a lot of resources that gives you a lot of answers. So if you got questions, the city provides it. I feel like we don't have too many cities that do that, because I don't know why, but they don't keep their community involved big time. Like, I feel like it's a neighborhood thing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Dansby, we'll end with you being a part of the Atlanta Braves organization. And I mean, what a great story to be able to play in your home team. But what does the A mean to you? And obviously it means so much, but I'd love to hear what it truly means to you from your brand.
Yeah, it's not that it's a little bit different, because I agree with what everybody said. I think I have a unique opportunity because I wear it for a living. You know, like I wear it as a part of a team. You know, like that's our equipment, is wearing the A. But for most people, how they would define, you know, like they represent their team. Like, I think the Braves very much represent a city. And I think that that's not very common for a team, especially one like ours right now, because we're just so young and energetic, to fully embody what the city has to offer. Just with how we treat each other is synonymous, you know, like with the city itself. But at the same time, just how we act, how we operate. Like we very much want the city of Atlanta, like kind of like flowing through like our clubhouse. So it's unique that, we have an opportunity to bring championships back, because for whatever reason, something with sports, like people go nuts right now during, this pandemic, that they can't watch any sports. So like it's something that it's very unique to be able to bring back, a World Series to this city. And then the other thing too, just representing the culture itself here is just the community. Like I got so much love for my family, but at the same time, like I would consider people that aren't my blood to be more family, because we've created such a a bond with one another. And I don't feel like it's like that everywhere, that everyone's trying to put each other on and really truly like wants the best for everyone. And then they're not scared about their reputation because they want somebody else to do well. Like it's not about winning and losing, it's about having everyone be as successful as they can be. So man, I love this place. I could talk all day about Atlanta, but man, I love this place.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, gentlemen, we thank you so much for your time today as we commemorate the 25th anniversary of the 1995 Atlanta Braves World Series, and where Atlanta is today, Atlanta forward. And we couldn't have thought of a better group of guests, a group of panelists to join us today. Thank you so much, gentlemen. We appreciate you. A-Town, what's happening? Hey.
Appreciate y'all.